Hi Adrian, welcome to TVGME and also to the conference on standards in emerging technology.
Thank you.
Since you are from ETSI, would be interested in understanding what is happening in the space of OneM2M.
OneM2M is a partnership project in which India is an active partner. The ambitions of the project is to develop a service layer for the management of IoT systems. It becomes particularly useful, say, if you have a smart city that wants to have smart dustbins, smart parking, smart air control. So you might have multiple IoT systems deployed within your city, but you want to have a common way to manage those rather than having separate management systems for each of those utilities. So this is where the OneM2M solution really comes into its own.
With the changes happening in the telecom sector, cybersecurity is becoming one of the major concern area for the industry. Are there some standards getting formalized on the cybersecurity also?
Yes, I mean, not just on the OneM2M work we've just discussed, which of course has particularly important security requirements, but for all of the products, standards that come out of the ETSI portfolio, we have to have a very robust approach to cybersecurity. Our philosophy there is that whereas in the past we may have designed a new technology and then considered how to secure it, our current philosophy is that we really think about security as part of the design criteria from the very beginning. So it's security by default rather than some activity that takes place after the technology.
It's not reactionary.
No, it's a very conscious thought at the very beginning. Where it's manifested itself very visibly is in the development of 5G, where although the 5G standard itself is a huge package and involves many technologies, before that work even started, we undertook a security threat analysis. So even before we designed the new radio interface, we had discussions about what would be required from a security point of view, because that has impacts on the way you design the technology.
You mentioned about 5G as a technology, and there's a proactive approach toward securing the technology before it comes out. Can you elaborate more on the 5G part also, that how the standards are going to get developed?
In terms of 5G in general, it's been quite an interesting story really, and I've been coming to India for many years. But it's not just about India. If you look at what's happening in the rest of the world, there were 5 years ago or so, there was quite a strong opinion that said, we don't really need 5G right now because 4G is doing fine. It's going to do fine for many years to come. Interesting that 2 or 3 years later, the whole 5G bandwagon had started to roll. Governments became very interested in 5G because an analytical report said that it would grow employment, it would grow GDP. We started to then see sort of countries bringing top-down pressure on industry to say, we want you to do 5G earlier than perhaps you thought. So in December last year, we actually finished the first raft of 5G standards, which will enable those who really want to implement very early to do so. In June this year, we will complete what we call phase 1 of 5G. Again, that enables those operators who want to be at the forefront of deployment to do that. But the full 5G picture, we don't plan to finish until the end of 2020, and that's in line with the sort of international view taken by the ITU that says that 2020 would be the right sort of time to see implementation. What's interesting here in India, though, is that the story has changed even further, because now in the last few months you've seen government spokesmen really saying India should be in the front, leading 5G. But on the global scale, we expect to see 5G deployed later part of this year in the United States, early part of next year, albeit in very small and bespoke examples. But it's all happening much quicker than perhaps we first thought it would.
Any specific expectation from this conference tomorrow?
I mean, this is the third in a series of such conferences. I've been present in the previous conferences. The particular session I'm involved in this time is on intelligent transport systems, connected cars, autonomous cars, again a very topical subject, and one that's of profound importance to India. So I'll be very keen tomorrow to understand more precisely what's happening in India, what technology choices are being made, and what sort of rollout plans we might see in the coming years.
In all the smart cities, this is one of the more major important area, ITS, and I'm sure India will gain the benefit from the interaction and collaboration with the EU.
I mean, it gains in so many ways, doesn't it? I mean, it's about saving lives, it's about reducing pollution, it's about making people's daily life more tolerable, making sure that your commute is much shorter than this, if indeed you have to commute. To my mind, actually up the front there is saving lives, because you see so many fatal accidents.
Yes.
And not just in vehicles, but in trains. How can two trains actually collide with each other? I mean, they're on tracks. It should be impossible for two trains. And yet even in mainland Europe,
doesn't work properly.
Even in mainland Europe, every year we see a major disaster where two trains that are on tracks, totally controllable, drive into each other and kill a few people. And you think, well, surely we're clever enough with our scientific solutions to solve this problem.
And there's a great effort, from the Indian government now, linking the railways, highways, waterways together. So I think the whole transportation system will go sea change in next few years. So it will not be only the city transport, it will be actually countrywide transport they're working on.
I mean, the infrastructure in India has always been a problem. And the main thing is that you're addressing it and doing something about it. I mean, it's a vast subcontinent. And just to improve the roads in India sounds like a great statement, but it's such a massive task. But, you at least you have the benefit of putting in modern systems right now rather than trying to correct systems that you had deployed previously. So to some extent you have a green field on which to use the very latest of technologies and learn from other continents that have made many mistakes.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. It was very interesting discussion, all about the latest what is happening, and we wish that we hear some better things also tomorrow, or more things tomorrow in your address.
Let's hope so. Thank you.